Hello. How strange to meet you like this, across time. I'm Emily. You know, I wrote from a very small room, but it wasn't because the world was far away. It was because the whole world was already right here, inside. And that's what we're going to explore together. How to listen, really listen, to that inner poetry. Shall we?
You see, that's the whole secret. So many people think poetry is this foreign language you have to study and memorize. But it's not. Not at all. It's that feeling, that little pulse you feel between silence and sound. It's that little gasp you take. You know the one, when you see something beautiful you can't quite explain. That's it. That's the language of your own heart.
For me, my poems, well, they were never about ambition. They were simply my breathing. I had to write them, just to keep from bursting. And if you've ever had a feeling that was just too big, too bright for your words to hold, then you know exactly what I mean. Welcome, you absolutely belong here. Okay, so let's start with our first lesson. It's all about something I call the art of compression. You see, a poet isn't someone who says a lot. No, it's someone who makes a lot out of what little is said. For me, being brief, it wasn't about holding back. It was a form of reverence. And I want you to really notice the difference here. Compression, it's not about shrinking your truth. Not at all. It's about distilling it, getting it down to its most powerful, most potent form. So when you write, ask yourself this: which word here can I absolutely not live without? Which tiny syllable holds the heartbeat? Here's how I like to think about it. Every single word is like a universe, an electric atom. And when you strip away everything but the essentials, you create this incredible current that flows between them. A poem shouldn't explain things, it should strike. And in that space you've created, well, that's where silence comes in to do its work. It becomes your collaborator.
Let's look at an example. Just feel the difference. That first version, it's fine. It's dutiful, it's polite, but it's way too complete. It explains everything away. And love isn't an essay, is it? It's more like a wound with light pouring out of it. Now the second one, that one has mystery. And because it has mystery, it has life. It actually breathes.
The critics. They always had so much to say about my dashes. But let me tell you, every single one is a heartbeat. It's not an absence of something. It is something. It's oxygen. So in your own writing, I want you to trust that pause. A poem that doesn't breathe, well, it dies. It's as simple as that. All right, on to lesson 2. We've talked about the tools of language, but now we turn to the source of it all, what I call the inner telescope. You see, most of us spend our lives peering outward, at the world. The poet just reverses the lens.
This right here is your real work, to become an astronomer of your own soul. I found that when I looked out at the world, all I saw was chaos. But when I turned that gaze inward, I saw constellations. And every single poem, it begins right there, as a little glimmer, an unmeasured star just waiting for you to give it a name.
So how do you even begin? That's the question, right? Well, instead of just saying, I am lonely, try to translate that feeling. Turn it into an image from nature. Suddenly, loneliness isn't just a word. It breathes. You can feel its chill, its quiet endurance. It stops being a complaint, and it becomes a whole cosmos. You have to understand that true observation, it requires surrender. You can't chase it. You have to let it come to you. When you get utterly still, you can almost hear creation composing itself. I remember one time I just listened for a whole hour, and in that deep quiet, a poem just arrived. It didn't make a sound. I didn't chase the light you see. I just became quiet enough for the light to find me. And that brings us to our third and maybe most important lesson. It gets right to the heart of it all. Why? Why do we even do this? The answer is to find the infinite in the most intimate small things. The infinite is surprisingly polite. It usually knocks on the door of the familiar. If you remember nothing else from our time together, please remember this. You see, most people, they pray upward, but I always prayed inward. To really truly taste the dew on a spider's web, or to hear that perfect hush between two bird calls, that is communion. Your attention, when you give it like that, it's a form of love, and the world, it glows in return. The world is always praising grand gestures, isn't it? Loud declarations,
But I'm telling you, resist that temptation. When I chose to stay in my house, people said I was retreating from the world. Oh, but they were so mistaken. I wasn't retreating. I was traveling inward. And that kind of journey, it has no horizon.
But then, what do you do with this truth once you find it? How do you share it? Well, you have to tell it slant. And that's not to make it weaker. No, it's to make it survivable for the listener. Think about it. People shut down when they feel accused, but they open up when they're astonished. A poem shouldn't be a condemnation. It should be a revelation. You've been listening so patiently, so well. But now it's time to turn all of this observation into creation. It's your turn. I'd like to invite you to make a small attempt, right here with me. So just let this question sit with you for a moment. Don't try to think too hard. And please don't write what you think you're supposed to feel. Write what your soul shows you. Because this right here is how poetry begins. It never starts with an answer. It always starts with a deeper, more vibrant question. And just remember this. Poetry doesn't end when you put the pen down. You know, when I wrote my poems, I truly believed no one would ever read them. And yet, here you are. So please, don't write to be known by others. Write to know yourself. And if, on some quiet night, your soul speaks and you find the courage to answer in just a few brave lines, then you will have joined me. Not in my time, but in my silence. Good night, dear poets.